Animals spend much of their time obtaining food and eating. Why? Food is needed so animals can live, grow, and reproduce. Without food, animals die. Why is food so important? What do animals get from food? Food supplies both matter and energy. Matter is the material that everything is made up of. It takes up space and has weight. Energy is the ability to do work, and work is done when something is moved or changed. Part of the matter in the food that an animal eats is changed to the matter in that animal's cells and tissues. This change requires energy, however. There are different kinds of energy. Living things cannot use all of them. If animals get their energy from food, what kind of energy is it? Food contains chemical energy. This can be changed to other kinds of energy, such as heat and light. Here we see the food burning. This is a very rapid way of releasing the chemical energy in food. In the bodies of animals, the chemical energy is released in a much slower way in the animal's cells. This process is called respiration. Heat and chemical energy result from this process. The heat is lost. In the case of this mouse, the heat lost in respiration raises the temperature of the container. The chemical energy is used to build new cell parts or is changed to still other kinds of energy such as motion or light. Animals get their energy from the food they eat. But where do plants get their energy? Plants use the light energy from the sun. Without light energy, plants cannot live. But they also cannot live without a source of matter. They get their matter from the air and from the water in the soil. The green parts of plants change this matter from the air and water into the material that makes up their leaves, roots, stems, flowers, and fruits. Sunlight provides the energy for this conversion in a process called photosynthesis. Only the green parts of plants can change light energy into the chemical energy in materials by photosynthesis. These materials are moved to non-green parts of plants where they supply energy and matter by respiration. When an animal eats a piece of plant, it takes in the chemical energy stored in that piece. But animals don't get all the energy stored in plants. Why not? Some parts of a plant are not eaten, and some of the parts that are eaten are not digested. The parts that are not digested just pass through an animal. The plant parts not eaten or not digested are wastes, just as your unused food and its containers are wastes. There is energy in the parts of the plants that are not eaten or digested. What happens to the plant material that is not eaten or is passed out from an animal without being digested? Some of it is eaten by smaller animals such as dung beetles, earthworms, isopods, millipedes, and maggots. Most of it is broken down or decomposed by living things called decomposers. This breakdown process, or decomposition, is what happens to your food if it is not placed in a refrigerator or preserved with chemicals. The decomposers are very small living things or organisms that are best seen with a microscope. These microorganisms are mostly molds and bacteria. They do not eat the waste materials the same way animals eat their food. Instead, they put out chemicals that break down the wastes into substances that can be taken directly into their bodies and broken down further by respiration. So green plants get their energy from the sun. Animals that eat plants get their energy from the plants they eat. Animals that eat other animals get their energy from the animals they eat. And decomposers get their energy from plant and animal wastes which they break down and decompose. Not all plant and animal wastes are decomposed. Some wastes, bones, teeth, and hair, for example, break down very slowly. Decomposition usually takes place only if the decomposing organisms have both water and oxygen. In this way, these organisms are just like you and other animals. In very dry places, it may take hundreds or thousands of years for plant and animal wastes to break down. In places where there is very little oxygen, such as in the mud at the bottom of a swamp or ocean, the decomposition may be even slower. When conditions are just right, these plant and animal wastes can be changed to coal or oil, but this takes millions or hundreds of millions of years. Would you expect coal and oil to have energy? Where does this energy come from? It is the energy in the remains of plants that lived millions of years ago. When these remains were slowly changed to coal and oil, the energy stayed in the coal and oil. When we say that man depends upon plants for energy, we refer not only to his use of plants for food, but also to his use of coal and oil, which came from plants. We are now burning coal and oil faster than they are being formed. What will happen? It is like hooking up a number of burners to a supply of fuel. If fuel is added as fast as it is used, then the level of fuel in the reservoir stays the same. But if the fuel is used faster than it is added, then the level in the reservoir goes down. What happens to the level of coal and oil if we use coal and oil faster than they are replaced? What happens if there are more people on Earth to use the coal and oil? What will happen when our supply of coal and oil runs out?